A think tank called the Fraser Institute recently wrote, according to a 2017 poll, a majority of American millennials preferred to live in a socialist, communist, or even fascist nation than in a capitalist one. The February 2019 cover of The Economist read, The Rise of Millennial Socialism. It featured poll results from Gallup showing, get this, 51% of people aged 18 to 29 approved of socialism. And more recently, a poll indicated that 45% of Americans aged 18 to 24 agree that socialism is the ideal economic system for the country.
I think socialism is great. I think you should definitely help whoever you could at any situation.
I with socialism just because I with anything that's helping black people out.
Okay, so you're socialism curious.
Yeah, well, I'm in college.
Right. Do you hate billionaires?
Low key, yeah. You look at Jeff Bezos, he doesn't look human.
I mean, I think the idea of socialism is on point. I mean, I don't really know what socialism means, to be completely honest with you.
My guest is the Director of Research, Centennial Institute Professor of Politics, School of Humanities and Social Sciences. Please welcome Dr. Tom Copeland. Dr. Copeland, do young people even know what socialism is? Is there a gap between what socialism is and what young people think it is?
Well, I think that last clip illustrates that perfectly. The student doesn't even really know what socialism is. That's what the latest Fraser Institute poll shows, an international poll, US, Britain, Canada, and Australia. That students don't even know, people at the 18 to 34 age bracket don't even know what socialism really is.
So if they don't know what it is, what's the appeal?
Well, the appeal is really for what socialism is not. They don't tend to favor, at least in the US, they're not as favorable towards socialism as they are in the other countries because they've confused the definitions. I think the socialism simply means either a large welfare state or perhaps some kind of universal basic income. They don't understand that socialism really is about state control of companies and the economy and all of the restrictions on human freedom that have to go with that kind of a system.
Yeah, the classical definition of socialism is government ownership of means of production. So, Dr. Copeland, is it good news that when young people say they support socialism, they're supporting something that is not socialism?
Well, I think that's likely because I think what's missing is better economic education. Students need to know the actual history of socialism and communism. They need to understand the interpretation that Marx really intended with his system of communism. So maybe there is good news in the fact that students could be educated to understand better what socialism really is.
Well, then they should know, or let's hope they know, what capitalism is. And if so, why is capitalism not attractive to them?
Well, I think so many young people are not entrepreneurs anymore. They might be, YouTube influencers. So there's a certain sense of entrepreneurship in this generation, but they haven't had to build their own businesses or haven't had that kind of experience. Their only view of capitalism really comes from, let's say, the 2007-8 financial crisis, the big government bailouts, and now currently the huge problem we have with inflation and so on. So they don't really understand what capitalism is either. And they look at the excesses too, right? They see income inequality. They see companies that are taking advantage of situations. And so I think conservatives really need to push back against crony capitalism as well.
I think you're right. I think another thing, and I think you and I are saying the same thing, is capitalism has winners and losers. And young people don't think anybody ought to lose.
Right. They think that equality of outcomes is perfectly possible. And, as Milton and Rose Friedman wrote in their book on equality, there's this tension between freedom and justice and equality. And if you want fully equal outcomes, you have to restrict people's freedom or do an injustice to certain groups of people. You can't have all three things simultaneously.
I recently read, Dr. Copeland, that the percentage of young people who believe in God, who are spiritual, has gone down dramatically. Percentage of young people who believe in patriotic values, however they define that, also has gone down dramatically. Do you think there's a pattern here that corresponds with the rise in young people who support socialism?
I think so, because generally, young people are always critical of their elders, older generations, institutions, and so on. That's probably been true for 2,000 years anyway. But now there's this progressively rapid decrease in trust in all the institutions. So whether it's the institutionalized church, government itself, corporations, even their own schools, and they're kind of left adrift. I mean, I teach college-age students, and I feel bad for them because they're entering into a world where they don't see a place for themselves within those institutions. They don't see how that civil society really helps everyone flourish.
What's that? The great Al Dursky, the sage from South Central, has in his baby brown libertarian fingers a pair of my slippers. As you can see, beautiful tan. They come in different colors. And there's also a different style if you don't like this style, although I can't imagine why. Here is the brand new, hot off the presses, My Pillow 2.0. An even more comfortable sleep than My Pillow 1.0. Call the number on your screen or go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER, and this is the My Pillow towels that work. This is a 6-pack. Have you ever noticed towels look good, smell good, even feel good, but they don't absorb the water, which is the whole point? These absorb the water. They come in different colors. All you have to do is call the number on your screen or go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER, and this is the Giza Dream bedsheet. Giza is in Egypt. Why Egypt? It's where the best cotton can be found. Mine, as you can see, is white because I am the black face of white supremacy, but you're not. You may want a different color. They also come in different sizes because beds come in different sizes. So just go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER, or call the number on your screen, mypillow.com, promo code ELDER. That being said, Doctor, I look at music, I look at movies. A lot of young people really want to be rich too, don't they?
Well, yeah, and that latest poll that you're referring to shows that interest in money has increased dramatically since the late 1990s. Of course, the poll is starting right at the end of the dot-com boom in the 90s, and people just felt pretty good economically at that point. But now we've had, again, the 07-08 recession, COVID, now inflation, and so it's understandable that people are more interested in making money than they were previously.
So, last question, going forward regarding young people, what worries you most? What are you most optimistic about?
I really am worried about the state of our K-12 system. That seems to be the latest set of institutions that the progressives are trying to infiltrate, not just infiltrate, but take over and manipulate and politicize. And so I'm very concerned that parents have enough power to actually direct their children's own educations. It's interesting that poll talked about the decline in interest in having children. Liberals and progressives basically don't want to have children, so they're going to steal yours. And that's my biggest concern, really, is that K-12 system. In terms of optimism, again, I think young people have open minds. They're curious. They want to hear both sides of the debate. And right now, they're mostly hearing the progressive side. What I think they would be open to are persuasive, compassionate, helpful educational messages that tell the truth about capitalism versus socialism and all of the American values that underlie that system.
Well, regarding our education system, Doctor, I smell what you're cooking, as my little brother used to say. 85%, according to the NELP, that's the nation's report card, 85% of black 8th graders, these are 13-year-old blacks, can neither read nor do math at grade level. Something like half can't do basic reading in our country, which means a large percentage of that category are functionally illiterate. And the whites aren't doing any great shakes either. We're spending more money than any other country, K through 12, other than I think Switzerland and Luxembourg, getting among the lowest results. That scares the hell out of me.
Well, and we spend more per capita on our education system than almost any other country in the world, and we have terrible results. It's why the school choice movement is so important, and school accountability. And there are states that are trying to actually restrict the ability of parents to have an impact on the curriculum that's being taught in their own schools. So I really think the school choice has got to be a major focus going forward.
Dr. Tom Copeland, Doctor, thank you very much for coming on. God bless.
Well, my pleasure.
Finally, when asked whether Christians were targeted at the Tennessee school shooting, this is what President Biden said.
Nashville school shooting. You believe that Christians were targeted? I have no idea. Josh Hawley believes they were. What do you say to that? Well, I probably don't. That. Probably don't. No, I have no idea.
Wow. Cue the laugh track. Now, will this be deducted? I got a question. Why are they running? Nobody is stopping them. Ah, Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Now, I know you love this show, so please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then scroll down and get on our mailing list. Why? Well, because from time to time, YouTube has an issue with our videos. To make sure you do not miss a video, you got to get on our mailing list. Also, you see that nice little round donate button, hit that. Throw a little something in the tip jar. That way, we can make sure that you continue to get hard-hitting, candid, honest, brutally honest programming. Remember Larry with Epoch, E-P-O-C-H, LarryWithEpoch.com. I'm Larry Elder. This has been the Larry Elder Show for Epoch Times. I'll see you next time. Remember, we've got a country to save.